My name's Marcus and welcome to the next episode of Your Charisma Coach. It's finally here! So it gives me great pleasure today to welcome a special guest on the blog, Rintu Basu. Hey! Rintu is an Amazon best-selling author on the topic of persuasion and influence. And today he's going to hopefully share some great insights and tips to help you become more influential and have a lot more persuasiveness with the people you meet, which can only lead to good stuff, I think.
Cool, yes.
So, Rintu, how did you get started with all this?
Persuasion skills specifically?
Yeah.
I'm an NLP guy.
Okay.
And if you know NLP, there's lots of people that do stuff
That's
in NLP.
Neuro-linguistic programming.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter what it is because it's just the thing that I'm into.
Okay.
And there's lots of people that do it. And
Right.
what I needed to do was focus on just something within that I could be really, really good at.
Okay.
For me, persuasion was a natural thing. There's lots about language patterns. Do you recognise the fact that language is just a filter? Sorry, I'm just...
That was a language pattern, wasn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
If you think about it this way, whenever you say anything, whenever I say anything, you have to make pictures in your head about what it is that I'm saying for it to make sense.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Which then basically means that I can force anything that I want on you just by talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
So, this whole language thing is just a filter.
Okay.
And that means I can direct your attention wherever I want it to go. It's fabulous. When I heard that, I kind of went, oh, that's brilliant. That's what I got from NLP, and that's what I got very, very good at in terms of language and stuff. So I thought, well, if I need a niche, that would be a good one to get into.
Okay.
And so that's basically what I did.
So, what was your, how did you know when you were starting to really sort of get the skill and develop it? Was there any sort of waypoints where you thought, right, I'm a bit more persuasive than I used to be?
Yeah. So here's what actually happened to me. I was working as a trainer and I started getting into this stuff, and what I decided was that I've got 16 little minds in a room every day of the week that are just waiting to have their heads full of all sorts of interesting, exciting stuff.
Okay.
Why don't I take 5 language patterns, I'll write them out every evening, I'll write out 5 new language patterns, and the next day I'm going to go in and come hell or high water, I'm going to spout this stuff at them.
Right, so let's be clear that a language pattern is a sentence
that forces you to look in a particular direction. So, for example, the one that we were playing about with for the weekend was the issue isn't X, it's Y. So the issue isn't what we're talking about, it's actually focusing on the pattern.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what you say, I can move this conversation to where I want it to go.
Okay, so, right, yeah, and you're about to do, oh God, I've got to resist.
Yes, the issue isn't about resisting, it's about continuing the conversation.
Okay, so the issue isn't about, the conversation, it's about where it's going. So you're saying that if we say the issue isn't X, the issue is Y, we can redirect the conversation.
Yeah, let me be more blatant. The issue isn't what you're talking about, it's actually about what I want to talk about, which is actually moving this into what I was doing with this bunch of students. What I was doing with this bunch of students was basically that. They would come up with, sort of, a question about what we're talking about, and I would say, that's such a great question. And the issue isn't that question, it's about what I can give you as a definite answer to this, and what I would say is whatever I was going to say.
Okay, so, because we met in a seminar, and Rintu, had this great, passed on a great tip, which was, first of all, was it find agreement with somebody?
Yeah.
And then you can say the issue isn't this, the issue is that.
Yeah. You need to take it in the right perspective. It doesn't work consistently all the time.
Okay.
But what I would say to anyone is, like, if it worked 1 or 2 times more than your normal life, would that make a bit, a big difference?
That makes a difference, yeah.
So, say for me as a police officer, if I was just to make 1 or 2 more arrests, or stop 1 or 2 more fights than every other police officer, would that make a big difference? Yeah, it certainly did.
That was a language pattern just then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Cheeky rascal. Right, so I mean, we had another hypnotist, James Tripp, and his variation of that was, on one level it's X, on another level it's Y, so it might be.
Do you know? And the great thing about that, because I completely agree with him, and the issue isn't the words that you use; it's actually about what makes it most comfortable for you. So you could say the issue isn't this, or the issue is that, or on one level it's this. the other levels
Rintu Basu is a nightmare to interview. Okay. But the issue isn't you're not a nightmare. On another level, you're complete. Yeah, it's fantastic. So, is there a technique that people watching can take out and try? Because you've got so much to share on influence and persuasion.
Okay. In the next 2 to 3 minutes, here's something you can use. You need to, well, actually, when I say use, go out and practice and have fun with this. Let me explain where it comes from first. It's called an awareness pattern. In sales, salespeople call this a yes set. So what it's about is trying to get you to say yes several times to things that you have to say yes to. Yep. And then when I slip in the question, yes, yeah. I know. And then at the bottom of that, you ask the one question that you're not sure that they're going to say yes to, but if they said yes all the way down, the chances are they'll say yes to the last one.
Okay, I'm liking this.
Yeah. So in sales, it would be something along the lines of, okay, we've talked about the product, you've got all the benefits, yep. And that means you're ready to buy.
Right.
Yeah. So you've got 2 yeses, and then you go, buy it now, and you go, yes. Okay. That's kind of how it works for sales. A hypnotist does the same thing. They call it an awareness pattern. What hypnotists do is this: they will, if they want to take you into trance, they'll go, okay, so you're sat in this chair.
Yeah.
It's verifiable.
Oh yeah.
And you're listening to the sound of my voice,
mm-hmm.
and that means you're ready to go into trance.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so it's just leading people to where you want them to go.
Right.
So I mean, I'm quite happy doing this in conversations, and it'd be the same sort of thing. So we're sat here talking and having fun, and that means that you're ready to take out your wallet and give me lots of money, or pay for the meal, or whatever it is.
Okay. So yeah. that's quite a big leap for me to take out my wallet and pay you lots of money.
I'm just.
This isn't a free interview. I've had to, so on one level, maybe it's worth. So would it be valuable then in just doing a little yes, and maybe a maybe a small yes that they probably wouldn't otherwise have said yes to,
Yeah. Okay. So the trick with this is you take small steps.
And there's a question very quickly. Do people have to say yes, or can they just feel yes?
They just need to feel it.
They need to feel it. So they can nod. They could be in a slow state of agreement.
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
Just here's the thing that I really want you to get with this. Okay.
Right.
Is you would generally use lots of different things to get people to move.
Yeah.
So it's not just about reapplying the same pattern. But here's the deal with this: is when you get to do this naturally, you can see amazing shifts in people. And the way to get to do this naturally is just to practice doing it in a normal conversation, because it gets to be fun. Mm. All you have to do is sit, and you probably want to go out there and do this deliberately with people.
You're sat quite comfortably there, you're enjoying your coffee, did you order the stripper?
Is you just go sit in a conversation and go, in your own head, go, I'm only allowed to say what I want to say after I've given them 2 truisms. So if I were to start with you, it would be, okay, so we're sat here, we're having a conversation.
True.
Yeah, and what would you like to talk about next?
Oh, okay. Monkeys.
Monkeys. Cool. So you've just said the word monkeys, and we're on camera talking about monkeys, so can you give me another subject I can talk about? you see, I'm just...
Stabbing monkeys. Oh, sorry, I got that out. Poor little dead... Oh, there you go. So, Rintu, we're out of time now, I'm afraid. I know. We're just getting good. How can people find out more about you?
Easy. It's wibbly wobbly. www.thenlpcompany.com.
I recommend you sign up to his newsletter. It's full of liquid gold. If newsletters were liquid, they're not. But it is full of gold. I've learned a lot from Rintu. It's been an eye-opening experience. I recommend you go back, you watch this interview several times. This guy's a master of language. He's got lots of language patterns in the interview. The more you do this, the more you do that.
Final thought.
Oh, bonus tip.
If you just go and sign up on the website, there's a whole 20-page report with a bunch of language patterns in. Go and read that, then go and listen to this interview again. So there's a lot going on.
Perfect. Rintu Basu, high five. And that's compliance. See you later.
Language patterns are a fantastic way to improve your conversation skills, and you'll find that practicing them will give you the upper hand when persuading and negotiating with others. So have fun throwing them in your conversations. In the meantime, you can keep up to date with my latest tips and ideas at facebook.com/yourcharismacoach. See you there.